Most King Geo. I'm in my bed right now. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Omi and the Hellcat. I know that it's been a while that I haven't done a series on Omi and the Hellcat, so I decided to do one now because he's been out of the picture. He's been doing these little videos, and I just wanted to go back at the time and say something that that hurts a little bit. Omi and Hellcat had a lot of followers, right? He had a cool show. I, for one, never followed Omi and Hellcat. I, for one, was against him when he first came out. I believe that his raid was fake, and everyone that knows me and seen Omi and Hellcat, me going at it, knows that I try to debunk his story and stuff like that. Because the way he did it, it looked fake, and I was not the only one. But I'm not going to mention other people's names because that's their stories. Let them do theirs. So I thought in my heart of heart that he was faking it, that he was doing all this because he wanted to get merch. And as time went by, you get to see that this guy was really legit to a point. But once you saw what happened, that how much money he had amassed, how he got that money, how he got that fame, and a lot of kids and a lot of people were like, that's good that he's doing this, he's doing that, and a lot of people looked up to him, which most people do when you're a YouTuber or stuff like that, and which is, I guess, is good or bad. It all depends how you look at it. And to me, as a Hispanic, he gave me an interview, Omi, which I appreciate. He tried to insult me, but that to me makes no, there's neither here or there. I don't put my mind to that. But the thing about it is that Omi had an idea, but Omi was his own worst enemy. Omi became his own enemy. He surrounded himself with people that he should have surrounded. It's like when Mike Tyson surrounded himself with all those people, and Mike Tyson had millions, and he lost all those millions because he was surrounded by nincompoops that all they wanted was his money and his fame. And to an extent, the same thing happened to Omi. And when I say Omi was his own enemy, because Omi knew that what he was doing was illegal. He knows that. There's no if, answer, or question about it. He knows it. There is no legitimacy about it. Any attorney can tell what he did was wrong. Whenever you're getting any money illegally, you're supposed to report taxes and that. You know that. Copyright infringement is against the law. They had him dead to right. You can't say that there was a gray area, like he said. He was claiming that if you look at the report, he had several boxes in different places in homes, and he had decoders. And how decoders work sometimes is that there's a line in the cable that detects that material is copyrighted. Like when you go to torrent and you download a torrent and you get a letter saying that this movie has been downloaded, please don't do it again, because they picked it up. So what he did, he has a system, he has a little bug that takes that takes that mechanism away, so it doesn't detect that. So that's how he gets. That's how he's able to pass on movies to different cable companies. I mean, to different cables boxes, so you can see it. So there is no gray area there. Whenever you are showing a show, whether it's through TV or through cable, you have to have the consent of that company. Now, there's a big difference if you own a bar and you get a pay-per-view and you decide to show that pay-per-view to your audience. That's totally different because you bought that pay-per-view. Same way in your house. If you bought it in your house, you can show it to as many people as you want because you pay for it. You understand? You pay for it. But to open up a box and get that movie for free and not pay its original proprietor, but pay the third party, and that third party has no permission to show that content, and then that's copyright. And he was fully aware because he was 1080p. He knew that. He knew that when he was with Solo Man. He knew that when he was with Mr. Entertainment. So Omi and Hellcat knew what he was doing, but Omi and Hellcat's downfall was Omi. Omi and Hellcat's downfall was himself. And let me explain. Here you are. You're a young Hispanic entrepreneur. You go onto YouTube or you go to any social media and you start showing what you have. And no one has ever heard of you before. That's going to raise eyebrow. And not only is it going to raise eyebrow, a lot of people who will envy you, a lot of people that don't like you, I might report you and say, you know what? Omar was doing this. Omar was doing that. That's what happens. It got out of control. So when you do a drug deal and it's just you, your buddy, and then you start doing other buddies and the other buddies comes in, now it's no longer just you. You have this company, you have this big thing now. Now it's a big thing. Before you were able to control it. Now you can't because you have so many people underneath you. And somebody else is going to want what you have. So by Omi going on YouTube and flaunting everything that he had, and I mean flaunting everything that he had, that brought suspicious. And when it brought suspicious, what happened? It brought the FBI. It brought the IRS. The IRS says, wait a minute. You made all this amount of money and you kept money and you didn't give anything to us? That's not the way it works. I mean, I would have loved to see him succeed legitimately. I really would have. That would have been exciting to watch a Hispanic man go from nobody and everybody's somebody. But what I'm talking about job-wise, from going like to washing dishes to becoming a multi-millionaire because they busted their ass in the restaurant, they bought a restaurant, now they own several restaurants. You know, that's something, that's a dream to look forward to. That would have been great. That would have been an inspiration to all, you know. But he just became his own worst enemy by going public and showing all the luxurious cars he had. And then he had Organic come out, and he had other people come out too doing the same thing. And that's where he screwed up. Going around flaunting everything that he had when he knew that everything that he flaunted was illegal. You know, when he went in front of TV, he says, "Oh, there was a gray area." Some of my lawyer told me there was a gray area. Any lawyer that tells you there's a gray area in copyright should be fired. Shouldn't even be considered a lawyer because there is no gray area when it comes to copyright infringement. There isn't. It's covered. It's covered from head to toe. And you know, when you do that and you go against Disney, and especially Disney's going to go after you because they want their money. Maybe not these little other companies, but Disney does want your money, and Disney's going to make an example out of you. Now think about it. You made $30 million well, supposedly, the FBI said he made $30 million on these pay-per-view. You know how much taxes he has to pay on those $30 million? Everything that he bought, if he bought whatever he bought with that money, cars, houses, motorcycles, spoon, watches, everything that he bought with that money, he loses that. He loses all that money unless he has money hidden somewhere and he can take it out years later on when they can't do anything because of the statute of limitations. But everything that he had, house, cars, jewelry, TVs, and it was bought with that money from the IPTVs, all that money, all the material is gone. And not just gone, the fine that you're going to have to pay afterwards, the minimum fine in federal prison is $250,000. $250,000. Did he buy the Jimmy Rollins house with that money? We don't know. Did he buy those Lambos, those Mercedes with that money? We don't know. But the FBI said that he amassed over $30 million. So that means that he did that all that through IPTV. So all that money has to go back. Everything that he bought, everything that he bought in his hand that was bought from that money has to be returned. He can't keep anything, you know. And it's sad because you want to see a Hispanic, you want to see a black person thrive, so you can tell, you know what, yo, that's my man. Look at that. He came from a nobody to a somebody, and if he could do it, I could do it. And a lot of people were rooting for him because they say, you know, he had all these buildings, he had all this, he had that, but he was hiding behind a facade. Unfortunately, he was hiding besides the facade. You know, my nephew told me, "Yo, Gio, don't hate the game, hate the player." You know, I just give him credit, which I do. I do give him credit. He did hustle, but he became his worst enemy when he went on YouTube. Had he kept himself low, had he kept himself maybe with one car and said, "Listen, this is how I did it," and if he would have bought just one house and he would have had one car and he would start doing merch, and then things would have been different because you could say the money that he's doing from YouTube is compensating that. But no, he started showing Lambo, he started showing Ferraris, he started showing Bentleys, he started showing this, he started showing that, and that got to him. And, you know, someone in the IRS is looking at him, and maybe the IRS was the one that was looking for him. Maybe one of his boys, ratted him out because he wasn't giving him what he wanted. Look at Solomon. Solomon was the same thing as Omi. Solomon had his own IPTV with Mr. Entertainment. They didn't go nowhere. They did a magazine. Solomon in a hurricane in Florida said that in a storm said that his house was destroyed, and his house was not destroyed, and he got $10,000 on a GoFundMe page. And I went after him, and he got demonetized. You don't see Solomon anymore, you know. But Solomon didn't have what Omi had, you know. Omi had that charisma. Omi had people following him. Everybody wanted to be Omi because, yo, Omi came from downstairs all the way up, which was good, you know, which is a good thing to do. But he messed up. He messed up doing it, showing it all off on YouTube. You know, and I, for one, like I said, I thought that he was faking it. I thought that was all bullshit. And the rest, you know, and a lot of us thought about it because the way he did it. But when it all came to light, which I did apologize to him later on, when it all came to light, came out that the guy owed he took out $30 million. And all those cars, $80,000 in cash received, said $60,000 versus cash in another place. And there's certain things that you gotta do. You know, you could be street smart. Street smart is good, but you have to be extra street smart. You just can't go out there and get what you want illegally and flaunt it. It doesn't work that way. That's how you get caught. Greediness always will get to you because the more you want, the more you have, the more you want. And that's it. He wanted to be famous. He wanted to be this guy where he portrayed that he came from nothing to nobody, despite the fact that he was 1080p and he all this, but he did his things illegally. And now that's going to cost him, because unless there's not gonna be I don't think there's gonna be a Netflix story after Old Me and the Hellcat, or someone wants to buy his story so he can make millions out of that. Because he's gonna all that money that he took from the IRS, he's gonna have to pay that back. He's gonna have to pay taxes on that money. How is he gonna do it? You see? So he became his own worst enemy. And it's a shame, because he talked the talk, he showed you the cars, he did this, he did that. He knew what he was talking to a point, but it became his own worst enemy. And now, I've been looking, but I haven't found what his sentencing is, or what he pleaded guilty to, because he hasn't said. But it's not going to be something. He's going to do some time, because they're going to make an example. They're going to make an example out of him. And if they don't make an example, they could probably even do a deal with him and say, you know what? Hold on a minute. They could say, you know what? Um, instead of making a deal with him, they can say, you teach us what you know. Teach us how you did this, so we can know, and we can know what to look out for. And if you do that, we can knock off a couple of months, because federal time is by months, it's not by year. It's the same thing. They give you 12 months is a year. They give you 24 months is 2 years. They give you 36 months, that's 3 years. So, but they refer to it as months. All right. I mean, Martha Stewart did inside trading. All she did was a couple of months, but Martha Stewart had good lawyers. All right, she had good lawyers. She went to put him in prison, to in effect. But that's the thing, that he became his own demise. He became his own worst enemy. And hopefully, when he comes out of this, he learns about this, and he can open up a legit store, or he can even be a guru, a speaker, so other kids can be inspired and say, you know what, Omi did this, I could do it. Jesse Smollett will do no time. Well, Jesse Smollett's a fool. I mean, Jesse Smollett should do time just for wasting people's time. I mean, how can you go be put it? How can you be on a TV show, which is Empire, and say that this happened to you? And if it happened to you, just keep your mouth shut. Go on. You're still making money, man. But why would you, if it happened, why would you orchestrate such a thing? And he had a good thing going on with Empire. Why would you ruin that? See, people are stupid. People, when they want something, they don't appreciate what they got. They want more. Why would you ruin that? And then he tell the judge, well, something happens to me, blah blah blah. Man, you're gonna be in protective custody. What's going to happen to you? Jail is not what you think it is, but they just don't like that anymore, bro. And if it is, you just gotta fight. You fight. Fuck it. Well, but I found it funny, and then he lost everything, and now I mean, some people, some people go to jail, some actors go to jail, some rappers go to jail, and they do certain things, and they come out, and they still become rappers, they still become actors, and and they get hireable. I mean, and they get hired again. But I don't think Smonette's gonna get hired again. I think he himself, he ruined that career. He's gonna have to do an empathy. He's gonna have to have an epiphany, and he's gonna have to do a lot of thinking. He has to kiss a lot of asses. He really does. But he messed up. Another idiot. He became his own. He became his own worst enemy. And it's the truth. Give me another guys, give me another person and I will tell you if that person was good or bad. Plain and simple, because you have a lot of people out here who do and they don't do much. I saw a video one time with Mr. Organic where Mr. Organic charged the guy $5,000 for him to do a collaboration with his kid, and he ain't doing no collab. The kid was not even in the video. It was just Mr. Organic. I would never charge. It's like me going to Mr. Beast and say, "Yeah, Mr. Beast, I'm gonna give you $10,000 if you do a collaboration with me." I wouldn't do that. If I was Mr. Beast and say, "Yo, Chinchillo, can you do a collab with me?" I do it and I give you 10 G's. Like, nah, man, you don't have to give me money, man. I'll do a collab with you. Which is the right thing to do. We want everyone in YouTube and whatever business it is, we want everybody to succeed. I wouldn't charge nobody. You know? A lot of people wanted to do a boxing match between Omi and I. You know, one of those celebrity matches. That would have been fun. I think I would have won. Omi can't move. But like I said, like I can't knock the hustler. I can't hate the play. I gotta hate the game. And he did what he had to do, you know? And if you think, and if you think about it, there are worse people who do worse things and you don't go after them. Or if you do, you give them time. But you gotta remember there's the law for a reason, right? The law's the law. And these companies been losing a lot of money because of pirating. You know, but if he would have done things right, and if he would have kept his mouth shut, and he only got on YouTube the way he did, he would have gotten away with it. He really would have. He would have saved some money, and after 7 years, statutes of limitations, they can't touch him. They really can't. They really can't. But they didn't think like that. You know? And it's a shame. You know, he had all that money. He had all that money now. Now all that money, now he lost. You know, so how many months is he gonna get? I don't know. I think if he didn't if he plead, because he went quick, there's only one guy that hasn't pled. If he plead, he probably gets 24 months, if that, with a $250,000 fine, because that's the minimum in federal prison is $250 fine. You know. And once he comes out, if he wants to make a book deal, how I made IPTV, how I made millions, that could happen. Will it happen? I don't know, because he doesn't have that big of a follower for people to buy so many books. You know, so it's gonna be kind of hard. Statutes of limitation. What about Bill Cosby? They will charge. See, but the statutes of limitations of Bill Cosby is different, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, 20 years ago they changed the law as far as rape, because murder never had a statute of limitation. But 20 years ago, the statute of limitations changed to that they were endless. So you could, back in the 80s, back in the early 90s, if you were raped today, you had 5 years. If it was a felony, you had 5 years to report it. If it was a misdemeanor, you had 3 years to report it. But if not, the statutes of limitations would go away. It's like you go and you rob a bank. You rob a bank, you keep the money, they don't know who you are, you keep the money and you don't use it at all. And on the seventh year, you come out with the money and you can use it. You probably end up paying taxes on that, but they can't arrest you because the statute of limitations already passed. You would have to pay taxes on that money, but the cops can't arrest you. So when it comes to that, it's kind of hard. Well, OJ was appealing because he had another choice. You see, OJ Simpson was a character who OJ Simpson was guilty. But check this out. The only reason that OJ Simpson got away with murder is because you have to look at the way Johnny Cochran and Shapiro played it. Think about this. A year before O.J. Simpson, Rodney King had gotten beaten up by these five white cops. And we all saw that in LA. We all saw that even when you were in New York or whatever, you saw that in the news how from the helicopter, how they beat them up, how they beat Rodney King up, right? He got awarded millions of dollars. So when it came to and they got acquitted. So when it came to O.J. Simpson's turn, no jury, especially that jury for there were black, Hispanics, and Asian, no jury was going to find O.J. Simpson guilty because they say in here they say to themselves, last year these white people almost killed a black man for no real reason, and now this guy's being accused of killing a white girl. Let the white girl go. Who cares? Let the old man. Let OJ. He's an athlete. Let's not find him not guilty. That's what it was. It was an eye for an eye. It wasn't because they had great prosecution or I mean a great defense or if the glove don't fit, don't convict. It had nothing to do with that. It's just the jury played a big role prior to what had happened to Rodney King. Be like Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is another one. Look how many women he allegedly raped after so many years, and they came back to haunt him. That doesn't have a statute of limitation. Certain most felonies have 7 years, and misdemeanors have 3. But it means that 3 means that they have to have a warrant out for your arrest. That's what it means. So if you commit a crime today and they have no warrant out for your arrest, right? Or they can have a suspicion that it's you, but they have never charged you. They have 7 years to charge you. But if they have a warrant out for your arrest, then those 7 years means nothing because they already had the warrant out for your arrest. That's basically if they don't have a warrant out for your arrest. Then your statute of limitation on a felony is 7 years. On a misdemeanor is 3. That's in all states. And that's what it is. And then what got OJ was that once he got acquitted, he went to Las Vegas to take away all his civil shit, all of his things, and he got sued civilly. And then he got arrested for that. You get away with the most important thing which was murder, and you go out for some petty shit. Ain't that some stupid shit? He deserves to get arrested twice. Just for being OJ and the other one for being stupid. For being stupid. How you doing, Tenvales? How's Brooklyn? Guys, how you doing? Whoever's watching my show, thank you for watching the King Geo show. I've been off for a while. So I've been demonetized. And it has hurt me, hurt my ego. So I haven't been doing too many lives, but I do have friends like Ryuz. They always gives me a picker upper up whenever he or she can. Got some people from London. My audience is getting out there. But without monetization, that's how I get paid. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Tell me what you guys are doing up at, what time is it? 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning, what's up? What do you guys think? I'm not even gonna mention Ukraine. What do you guys think about the new law that wants to be passed in Tennessee where if you get caught driving drunk and in that accident you kill the parent of a child, you have to pay child support. What do you think? Well, the thing with the brother got killed yesterday. The news that came out yesterday from Pittsburgh. The DA said that it was self-defense. He's talking about Spencer. That it was self-defense. Think about it. Think about it. The defense attorney said that he was drunk, he was slurring some words, and they thought that he was going to shoot somebody, and they shot him. But if you look at the autopsy, there's been more than one bullet wound in that man's body. That's not self-defense. I don't know how is that self-defense. the law in Tennessee, which was that they put the House passed it, that if you get caught drunk driving and while you're drunk driving, you cause a crash, and in that crash, you kill the parents of a child and you leave that child fatherless or motherless, you are responsible to pay child support, which I think is a good idea. You just can't be driving drunk and not face consequences. Look, I got a honey bun. So, honey bun, if you want to sponsor me, here you go. Yeah, so they say on the shooting for Spencer in Pittsburgh, they said it was self-defense, which is bullshit because self-defense, that kid had more than one bullet. If you see the autopsy, he had more than one bullet. You know, self-defense is the law. If you shoot someone in your house and you shoot them once and you get them down, and you shoot them in the leg and the person is down, and you keep on shooting till you kill them, then that's not self-defense anymore because you were no longer at risk. What's not to feel about that law? I mean, it's a very important law. 10 bells. You're driving. Someone kills you because they decided to drink and drive. Your family don't have the money to support them. The government doesn't want to support it. But the person who killed that baby has the means too. So let that person take responsibility. No one told him or her to get behind the wheel. Well, I'm assuming I haven't spoken to him lately. But from what he's put on his Facebook, he feels a little upset, which he should feel upset. I mean, this autopsy took over a month, and if you look at his Facebook, he put his brother's autopsy up the other day, and I saw it, and he had several wounds in his body, some that exited, and that's not consistent with self-defense. Not shooting you in the back. How is shooting you in the back self-defense? I think for me, I think the FBI should be involved in this. That's what I think.